What does it take for a single moment to unravel a lifetime of honor, a career built on power? On a quiet evening in Arlington, Virginia, General Marcus Langston, a decorated Black Army officer, drove home after a long day at the Pentagon. His uniform gleamed with the weight of 30 years of service, medals for valor, ribbons for sacrifice. At 58, he was a man who commanded respect, not just for his rank, but for the battles he'd fought, both on foreign soil and in a world that often judged him before knowing him. Tonight, though, a routine drive would become a crucible. The street was calm, the sky bruised with twilight. Marcus adjusted his rearview mirror, humming softly to a jazz tune. Then, blue lights flashed behind him. A police cruiser. He pulled over, hands steady on the wheel, years of discipline keeping his pulse even. The officer, young, brash, with a badge that read, Officer Daniel Holt, approached with a swagger. "Step out of the vehicle," Holt barked, his tone sharp, eyes narrow with suspicion. Marcus complied, his movements deliberate, his uniform a silent testament to his authority. "What's the issue, officer?" he asked, voice calm but firm. Holt's gaze flicked over Marcus, lingering on his dark skin rather than the stars on his shoulders. "You fit the description of a suspect," Holt said, though his words lacked conviction. No explanation followed, no crime, no details. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd faced this before, the unspoken assumptions, the weight of a stereotype. "I'm a major general in the United States Army," he said, gesturing to his uniform. "I'd like to know the basis for this stop." Holt smirked, unyielding. "Hands behind your back." Now, the cuffs clicked shut, cold against Marcus's wrists. Onlookers gathered, phones out, recording the surreal scene. A black general, handcuffed beside his car, his dignity under siege. Marcus's mind raced not with fear, but with a quiet fury. He'd survived war zones, led men through chaos. Yet here he was, reduced to a suspect in his own country. Holt shoved him toward the cruiser, oblivious to the fire he'd ignited. Then, the twist, a woman's voice cut through the tension. "Officer, stop." It was Sarah, a young barista from the nearby coffee shop Marcus frequented. She'd seen him there weekly, always kind, always tipping generously. Now, she held her phone high, live streaming to thousands. "That's General Langston. He's a hero, not a criminal." Her words hit like a shockwave. The crowd murmured, phones buzzing with notifications as her stream went viral. Holt froze, his confidence cracking. Sarah's unexpected courage shifted the moment, turning bystanders into witnesses, their voices amplifying her truth. Marcus stood tall, even in cuffs, his eyes locked on Holt. "You're making a mistake," he said, not a threat, but a promise. Holt, now sweating, radioed for backup, but the damage was done. Sarah's video spread, reaching news outlets, then the Pentagon. Within minutes, Holt's supervisor arrived, a grizzled sergeant named Carter. He took one look at Marcus, then at Holt, his face darkening. "Release him." Now, the cuffs came off, but Marcus's gaze never left Holt. "You didn't see my uniform," he said quietly. "You saw my skin." Carter pulled Holt aside, his voice low but furious. The sergeant knew Marcus by reputation, a man who'd saved lives in Iraq, who'd mentored countless soldiers. Holt's suspect description was flimsy, a pretext born of bias. The sergeant's words were blunt. "You're done here." By morning, Holt's badge was gone, his career in ashes. The department issued a public apology, but for Marcus, it was a hollow victory. He drove home in silence, the jazz tune no longer soothing. Days later, Marcus sat at his desk, staring at a letter from the Army Chief of Staff. It commended his restraint, his grace under pressure. But Marcus didn't want praise. He wanted change. He thought of Sarah, her bravery a spark in the dark. He thought of the crowd, their phones a chorus of accountability. And he thought of Holt, a man undone not by Marcus's rank, but by his own prejudice. In the weeks that followed, Marcus spoke at community forums, not as a general, but as a man. He shared his story, not for pity, but to ignite dialogue. "We're all more than what others see," he said, his voice steady but heavy with hope. "Let's start seeing each other." The room fell silent, then erupted in applause. Sarah was there, front row, smiling through tears. Marcus nodded to her, a silent thank you for her courage, for reminding him that one voice could shift the tide. The incident faded from headlines, but its ripples endured. Marcus returned to his duties, his uniform a little heavier, his resolve stronger. He'd lost nothing that night, but he'd gained something profound, a reminder that humanity's best weapon against injustice is the courage to stand, to speak, to see. Yendi.